Hi, welcome back to Quarantine Yoga. Today's class is all about balance, so we're looking to keep ourselves grounded in every posture that we do. And we're going to be thinking about engaging our core muscles whilst also pressing into the mat with whatever is in contact with it. The important thing, I think, with balancing postures is not to overthink it. If you start thinking, am I going to fall over in this posture, you probably will. So just try and keep yourself grounded, keep yourself steady, and I hope you enjoy.
We're starting our practice in a comfortable seated position. The legs are crossed, the hands on the knees, the back straight, shoulders away from ears, and we're just taking a few breaths here. Then we're just going to start moving in circles, inhaling, bringing the chest forward, exhaling, coming backwards. Trying to make the circles nice and smooth. Changing directions. And then coming all the way back to centre. And from here we're moving to tabletop position, hands spread out on the mat, and from here we're lifting the right leg, and we're following that with the left hand. We're going to hold those straight, trying to keep our balance by engaging the stomach muscles. From here we're bending that right leg, and if we can, we're going to try and take the left hand to the right foot, and just hold it here. Releasing those back down onto the mat. Now we're going for the other side, lifting the left leg and the right hand, holding them straight. And then we're bending that left leg. And we're taking the left foot in the right hand, just trying to lift the foot a little bit higher while we're looking straight ahead. Core muscles engaged. And releasing those back down. Tucking under the toes, we're going to lift the bum higher, bringing the stomach down onto the thighs with the knees bent. Holding it here for a couple of breaths, and then we're just straightening out the legs, coming into downward facing dog. If you want to warm up the hamstrings, you can bend the legs, walking out the feet. Then from here, we're going to drop down onto our forearms and just walk the feet in a little bit closer towards the body. Don't worry, I know this feels quite intense, so you don't need to spend long here. And we're just going to lift one leg, followed by the other. Just finding our balance. And then from here, extending the arms back out again, coming back into downward facing dog. And we're going to bring our body weight forward, bring ourselves into side plank with our left hand down on the mat, the right hand raised, and if you can, you're just going to walk your left hand into tree position on the right thigh, resting it there. If not, you can keep the leg extended. Just breathing here, and then we're going to bring that right foot forward, as far forward as we can. I'm trying to bring it over my shoulder here, and I'm on the toes of the back foot, of the left foot. Just going to rock backwards and forwards a little bit, opening up that hip. And then if you can, you're going to bring that knee further over the shoulder. And then we can just tuck it in and try to balance on that right arm, drawing everything in, engaging the stomach muscles, and then lifting that left leg off the mat. Don't worry if you haven't quite succeeded in that. Then we're walking back to downward facing dog. And we're coming into side plank on the other side. So the right hand is down, the left hand is lifted. And if you can, you're just going to bring your right foot onto the left thigh. Coming with the left leg forward now. Just walking that forward, trying to bring it towards the right shoulder, over the right shoulder if you can. Staying on the toes of the back foot. And then we're trying to bring that shoulder further under the left knee, pressing them into each other as you fold that left leg around the left arm and lift the right leg off the mat. And then coming back into downward facing dog. Walking out the feet. And then bringing them towards the hands. When you arrive, bending the knees, taking hold of opposite elbows, and slowly rolling the body all the way up to standing. Preparing for our sun salutes now, so we're coming to the front of our mats, our big toes touching, ankles slightly apart. And then from here, we're inhaling, lifting the arms up, looking towards the fingers. Exhaling, we're hinging at the waist, folding forward. Inhaling, we're taking a halfway lift, so the back is straight and we're looking straight ahead. Planting the hands, stepping or jumping to plank. Chaturanga with the elbows in tight to the body. Inhaling, upward facing dog, the pelvis is off the mat if you can. Exhaling, downward facing dog, looking towards your navel. The heels pressing in towards the mat. Shoulders away from ears. Fingertips pressing into the mat as well. Trying to keep yourself nice and stable. Inhaling, coming up on the toes, looking between the hands, stepping or jumping for a halfway lift. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Take a breath. And then we go again when you're ready. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, folding forward. Hands either side of the feet if you can. Inhaling, halfway lift. Planting the hands, stepping or jumping, plank, chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Trying to keep your breath nice and smooth. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And from here, we're inhaling, lifting the right leg up towards the ceiling. Exhaling, we're bringing our body weight forward, coming into chaturanga with that leg lifted. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, back to downward facing dog. Now we're going to repeat for the left side. Inhaling, lifting the left leg, bringing the body weight forward, chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Inhaling, we're lifting up on the toes, stepping or jumping to the front, halfway lift. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, coming all the way up to standing. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Just take a breath here. We're preparing to come into chair pose now, so we want the big toes touching, ankles apart. We're bending the knees on the inhale, sweeping the arms up. And we're coming into a Hatha sun salute, so we want the hands separated, the bum sticking out behind, the back straight. And from here, the hands come to heart center. We're twisting over to the right, bringing the left elbow onto the right knee and looking up over the right shoulder. Coming back to center, lowering the hands down, stepping the left leg back. The foot is at 45 degrees, the right knee has a good bend, lifting the arms up. Palms come together and we're looking towards the fingers. This is warrior one. Making sure the hips are facing the front, the shoulders away from ears. And then from here we're coming to warrior two. So the back foot comes to 90 degrees. Arms opening to the sides, looking through your right middle finger, keeping a good bend in that right knee. Now reverse warrior. So the left hand comes down onto the thigh or the leg. We're bending that right arm over the head and we're looking towards the right hand. Bringing the hands back to the front, stepping to plank, chaturanga, inhaling upward facing dog, exhaling downward facing dog. Looking between the hands, stepping or jumping to the front for a halfway lift, exhaling folding forward, inhaling coming up, exhaling bringing hands to heart center and just take a breath. So now for the other side, coming into chair pose. Looking up towards your fingers. Then from here, hands to heart center, taking the right elbow to the outside of the left knee, looking up over the left shoulder. Coming back to center, lowering the hands down, stepping the right leg back at 45 degrees, keeping a bend in the left leg. Hands come up, we're in warrior one. And then we're opening out into warrior two, hips open, looking over that left middle finger. As you can see, my arms are a little bit high up here, you want to keep them parallel. And then we're lowering that right hand down, lifting the left hand up overhead, looking towards the left fingers, keeping that good knee bend. Coming back up, and then we're bringing the hands either side of the foot, stepping to plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Inhaling, looking between the hands, stepping or jumping for a halfway lift. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, coming all the way up. And exhaling, hands to heart center. Take another breath. And we're going to repeat again. So we're coming into chair pose. Hands come to heart center. The left elbow to the outside of the right knee, looking up over the right shoulder. Back to center. Hands come down, stepping the left leg back. Inhaling into warrior one. Coming into warrior two. Looking through your right middle finger. Inhaling, reverse warrior. Inhaling back to face the front. We're turning the hips to face the front. The right leg is straight. And from here, we're bringing the left arm forwards. And we're trying to bring it to the outside of the right foot on the mat. Obviously, if you can't reach, it's not a problem. You can keep it at your waist or you can keep it on the leg. Lifting the left arm up. So this is twisted triangle pose. This one can be a real tricky one to balance with, so it's quite fun to have a go. Hands come back to the waist. And now we're just increasing the distance between the legs, bending into that right leg, bringing the arms forward, and we're coming into a bind. So we're taking that right arm under the right leg, and then we're bringing the left hand to meet it, opening out the chest, looking up towards the ceiling. Again, if you don't get the bind, don't worry. The trick is having a really good bend in the right leg. Now we're stepping to the front. We're keeping the bind if we can, and we're going to lift the right leg up and straighten it. Again, if you haven't quite got this, don't worry. You can just lift and hold your right knee if you want, and then back to standing. So now for the left side. Inhaling, we're coming into chair pose. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhaling, bringing the right elbow to the outside of the left knee, looking up. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling, hands come down, stepping the right leg back. Inhaling, lifting the arms up, we're in warrior one. Next inhale, opening into warrior two. Inhaling, reverse warrior. Inhaling back to warrior two, hands come to the waist, bringing that left leg to face the front, the hips facing the front, and the right arm comes forward, taking it to the outside of the left foot if you can, or onto the leg. Twisting, we want our chest opening up to that left side, lifting the left hand up, looking towards the left fingers. Inhaling, hands come back to the waist, all the way up to standing, increasing the distance between your legs. A good bend in that left knee, bringing that left arm forward, and then we're trying the bind again, opening out the chest, drawing the shoulders back, and then stepping the feet together, lifting that left leg off the mat, trying to straighten out the foot. Straighten out the foot, straighten out the leg, what am I talking about? Okay, back to standing. Inhaling, we're lifting the arms up. Exhaling, we're folding forward. Inhaling, we're coming into a halfway lift, looking straight ahead. Dropping the hands, stepping or jumping to plank, chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. And we're going to bring ourselves down to seated position. So we're taking the body weight forward, crossing the ankles, straightening out the legs. And we're preparing to come into Navasana, or boat pose. So we're going to bend the legs, bringing the thighs up towards the stomach, keeping the stomach muscles engaged, the toes pointed, the arms either side of the knees, and the back straight. Want to keep the chest lifted as well. Then from here we're crossing the ankles, trying to lift the bum off the mat, and then we're going to come all the way to lying down for our finishing postures. Inhaling, we're lifting the legs and we're supporting the lower back as we come all the way into shoulder stand. So we want the toes touching, the ankles apart, the legs engaged, elbows drawing in towards one another. Trying to keep ourselves nice and straight. And just breathing here. And then from here, we're coming into Halasana, or plough pose. So we're bringing the toes down onto the mat, and ideally we want to bring the tops of the feet down onto the mat or the floor as well. And if we're able to touch the ground, we're going to bind our hands behind the back. If not, we'll just keep ourselves with our back supported. Then from here we're bending the knees. So we're coming into kind of a weird position. This is knee to ear pose. Then we're coming back up into shoulder stand, and now we're going to either cross our legs or come into lotus or half lotus pose. For me to do the lotus, I need to use my hands, so if you need to use your hands to help yourself into the position, no problem. And then we're just going to try and balance on our shoulders and bring the hands onto our knees. Again, this is a funny one to get right. It's all about having the right balance on the shoulders, but if you haven't got it at first, don't worry. Keeping the breath nice and steady. Then we're going to bring the knees down towards the head and just hug the legs in. And from here, taking the hands down onto the mat behind us and slowly rolling back onto the mat. We're going to come into fish pose. If you've got your legs crossed or in lotus, you can keep them there, or you can straighten out the legs. So what you're going to do is you're going to inhale, lifting the chest, hollowing it out, and bringing the crown of the head down onto the mat. And now if you're in lotus pose, you can take hold of the big toes with your hands. If not, you're just going to keep your hands under the lower back. Breathing here, really trying to hollow out that chest. And then releasing yourself down, bringing the chin to the chest, and we're just going to hug the knees in, rocking from side to side. And from here, I'd like you to come into a lying down position, the legs open to the width of the mat, arms by your side, allowing the breath to return to its natural rhythm. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed.